Just finished Man City 4, Chelsea 0 in the FA Cup third round at the Etihad. First time in 25 years the Blues have been knocked out in the third round of the competition. And today was an utter disgrace. I am fuming with what I've just seen on this football pitch, but I'm not surprised either, which probably makes it even worse. I mean, this club is rotten. The squad is rotten to the core. The dressing room's rotten. There's so many players here that simply aren't good enough, don't want to play for this football club, have got no character, no fight, no desire. And that is exactly what we saw on the pitch. They're the only players that put in any effort today were those youngsters: Bashir Humphreys, Lewis Hall, Chukwuemeka when he came on, Fofana when he came on, Hutchinson. Everyone else was an utter disgrace today. And performance like this has been coming for a while. You know, yes, there were promising signs on Thursday, particularly in that first half, but today was utterly dreadful. And what's happening here is years and years of short-termisms coming home to roost all at once. You know, years of poor recruitment, years of kind of hiring and firing, chopping and changing managers, putting plasters over injuries rather than addressing the problems face on. The fact that in 2023 we are still playing with the same midfield that we had in 2018 says it all. The negligence from the recruitment department of previous years is utterly shambolic. The list goes on, and there's a lot of Potter out noise on socials. There's a lot of fans that aren't happy with Graham Potter, and I look at it and I just think, how can you sit and watch what we've got and come to the conclusion that the biggest issue is the manager? The biggest issue at this football club are these players. We've had the same conversation under previous managers. We had the same conversation under Mourinho, same under Sarri, same under Lampard, same under Tuchel, and now we're having the same conversations under Graham Potter. These players are rotten. The squad's not good enough. The characters aren't good enough. There's not enough people in there that are up for the fight. Too many players just down tools when the going gets tough. We haven't got the right characters. There's no spine to the team. I hate to go back to the past because the past is the past, but look what we've been blessed to have over the years. We had Cech, Terry, Lampard, Ballack, Drogba, Ashley Cole. Leaders, big characters, guys that would go mad if certain levels on the pitch weren't met. Now you look at the pitch and you think, Jorginho today, utter disgrace on the pitch. I suppose he was captain today. He was abysmal, offered nothing. There's no people getting up in players' faces demanding more. There's almost an acceptance on the pitch that what's being done is okay, and you know that's kind of where we're at. No one's demanding more from these players. I feel really sorry for Potter today. You know, he had to make changes. You know, we've got 10 injuries. Obviously, Mount was back, so it's 9, but we played on Thursday. We've got a lot of games coming up, so there was obviously going to be rotation, plus it's the third round of the FA Cup. So I didn't actually have that many issues with the lineup. Yes, I would have liked Chukwuemeka to play, but at the same time, you know, he's just coming back from injury. He played virtually the whole game on Thursday, and we don't want to overload him and risk injury again, like we've done with Fofana, like we've done with Reece James. So I can understand why I didn't play. Zakaria, I felt, should have started as well, but he obviously didn't. I'm not really too sure why, but it's mad now how Zakaria is basically first name on the team sheet after Silva and Kepa. 100%. He has to play as one of our most important players, and I felt he made a bit of a difference when he came on today. But you know, today is just sums up the problems that have been there. You know, rotten to the core, as I've said several times already. These players aren't good enough. And the problem we've got at the moment is now that who are we going to get that's going to actually offer us anything respectable for the players that aren't there? That's the problem. Ziyech, get him out the door. Get Havertz out. You know, these guys have got to go. Mount today was utterly atrocious, and he's been abysmal all season. And yes, he gets a bit more leeway with fans like myself and other fans because he's English, because he's come through the academy. But we've got to hold players to the same standard. Mount has been abysmal this season. You know, he's had a couple of good games here and there, but he's offered absolutely nothing all season, pretty much. And that has to be called out, and he has to be criticised, and he doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the starting lineup. Neither does Hakim Ziyech. Get rid of him, sell him immediately. Kai Havertz was an utter joke today. I honestly don't know what we saw in him when we signed him. We paid, 70, 80 million quid for him. He's done absolutely nothing for this football club. Every time he plays, I've got no idea what he brings to this team, no idea what he's good at, no idea what he offers. It's like playing with 10 men up there. He was a joke today, utterly anonymous again. But yeah, just the lack of fight, the lack of passion, the lack of desire. These are all things that we've talked about time and time again. And right now, we have to take stock and accept that we're in this position because this is where we deserve to be. We're in this position because of all the short-term decisions we've made over the previous years, all the poor recruitment we've made. It's all built up to this point, and this is where we are right now. We are a mid-table side at the moment, and that's the reality of the situation. It feels ridiculous to sit here and say that Chelsea Football Club are a mid-table team, given we've been the most successful club in England over the last 20 years, having picked up 17 major trophies. But reality is, times change, football changes. That hiring and firing approach does not work in football anymore. Football's changed. And the way to be successful, particularly in the league, is to build something over a number of years. And I'm not saying Graham Potter is necessarily going to be the right guy, but give the guy a bloody chance to actually do something. He's had no pre-season. He's had no transfer window. He's not been able to bring in any of his own players. He's not been able to get rid of any players he doesn't want. He's been parachuted into an utter mess, a squad that was on a downward spiral. And he's had no time to do anything. He's had the World Cup in the middle of it. He's had 10 injuries. Those injuries to players that arguably virtually all of them make the starting lineup. He's had no Reece James, no Ben Chilwell, who we know make a huge, huge difference to this team. And what doesn't help is the fact that the attack is utterly toothless, and we've got zero creativity in midfield today. We had an XG of 0.09 today, the lowest we've had in the last 5 years. And people tell me that this is on the manager and it's not on the players. It just is utter nonsense. Today I fully expected it. I didn't expect us to get hammered 4-0, but I didn't expect us to get anything. But I did expect us to at least have a bit more fight. And I think we found out a lot today about certain players. I think we found out a lot about the dressing room and the characters in that dressing room, and the fact that we have not got very many, if at all, any decent characters in this dressing room. And now this is a really important week. Todd Boehly would have sat and watched that, and he has to act. We have to go into the market and spend big money and back the manager with 1 or 2 marquee signings. We need probably 3 or 4 players to come in this window. I don't think we're going to get them all, but there has to be investment. This is not on the manager. And people that say Potter out, I'd love to know, please tell me who's going to do a better job now with this same group of players in this same circumstances, and who's going to do any better in the long run? Because the answer is no one. And I'd love to hear the suggestions, because people say it as if like a new manager comes in and the problems are solved. There is no singular solution to this problem. It takes years to undo poor recruitment and short-term decision making. And you know what? It could be pretty bleak for us for a few years, but we have to look at the bigger picture. Yes, Chelsea demands success, and the standards should never change. But there's also nothing wrong with accepting that right now we aren't at those standards. And it's really important that we stick together as fans, we stick together as a football club, and we back the manager. If you can't support the club when it's not doing well, don't support us when we're doing well. It's as simple as that for me. In terms of chancing the away end today for Roman Abramovich and Thomas Tuchel, I can understand fans' frustrations, but ultimately that really isn't helpful. It doesn't do any good whatsoever. But yeah, I could go on and on, but today, ultimately, a joke. The player's an utter disgrace. And we just have to move on. And what Potter does have to do, though, is drop these senior players and play the youngsters. On Thursday, I want to see Fofana leading the line. I want to see Hutchinson play. I want to see Chukwuemeka play. I want to see Lewis Hall play. Chalobah has to play. These guys all have to play, because these senior players have shown time and time again they're nothing but overpaid prima donnas who aren't up for the fight and have got no stomach, no heart, and no desire. Times are tough right now for as Chelsea fans, but we've got to stick together, and there will be some light at the end of this dark tunnel, but this tunnel does look fucking long. But guys, we move on to Fulham on Thursday. A bit of a rant. Not sure how much of this made sense, but the issues aren't going to change overnight. We know what the issues are. We've got to hope that the ownership back the manager, and hopefully Potter can start to turn things around. But he needs the time to be able to do that. It's simple as that. But guys, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the likes on this video. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. Keep the faith, and up the Chelsea.